Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Erin and I do mostly budgeting videos like the one you are about to see here. First, thank you so much for tuning in and spending some time with me by watching this video. We are going to talk a little bit about how I'm allocating this week's side income money. So I did a complete video on that just to show you how much I made this week through my side income ventures, which include Grubhub and Instacart. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. I just uploaded it prior to this one, and I go into depth and show you kind of my screenshots of how much I was paid, and obviously talking about how that is 1 week's worth of income. So thank goodness for the side hustles right now, because, you know, life in general, things are difficult for a lot of people. And we have also taken a hit financially through our jobs. So the side income is providing us money to do things like this and concentrate on keeping up our variable expenses and even a little bit into sinking funds. So I'm super grateful, and I am trying to do as much of it as possible while I can. So we are going to talk about, I think in this video, we're just going to focus on the variable expenses, and then I'll come back and I'll do a video and show you guys how I'm stuffing the sinking funds. Now, again, I've said this before, but I like to keep them separate just because I know that different viewers are interested in different aspects of budgeting. Some people like to see the actual breakdown. They like to see the income. Some people are more interested in the stuffing of the cash envelopes and how the money is spent for variable expenses during the week. And some people are interested in more of the saving side to it, which in my case is more of the sinking funds. So I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see something, and got my calculator ready. And the first thing I wanted to do was talk to you guys about this little bundle of money here. Now, I did talk about this in a separate video, and then I updated it in yesterday's income video. And this includes all of the tax money that I have put aside for my side income venture. So I have decided, after speaking with our CPA that does our taxes every year, she's been doing it for like 10 years, and I knew that she would give the best advice based on our income and typically what we end up getting back every year, and just taking everything into consideration. So she did recommend that we put aside 20%. So typically every year at tax time, we get between $2,000 and I would say maybe $2,700 back in a refund. And I'm hoping some of that will offset this as well. So if you're wondering how I landed on 20% rather than 25% or even 30%, it was just her recommendation because we already do get a refund. So hopefully everything will even out. I'm not looking for really a refund. I'm just looking not to owe anything after all this. So before this week's income, I had $640 put aside, and I did take that from my savings sinking fund. Guys, I just really didn't have anywhere else to take it from that made sense. So I will talk about that in my sinking fund video, but for this week's income, I put aside $168 of it, which brought this up to $808. And like I said before, as much as it pains me to have $808 sitting here earmarked for the IRS, I have to do it because I can't find myself in a predicament come next year and have to cough up all kinds of money that I don't have. So that is what I did with that. So let's open up the budget planner, and I will open up to this week's spread. Now, I did talk about this a little bit in my previous video, just because I wanted to update the totals. Every week, I've anticipated a certain amount of income for Grubhub and Instacart, and so I put the actuals down here, which I think will be interesting data to look back on down the road. So for here, I do have one. Okay. I wanted to make sure I had an example, like a prior week to look back on, because I want to make sure that I'm doing these weeks exactly the same every time. So I am going to talk about cash envelopes. So before, when I did this, I actually did the sinking funds in the center section. So I'm going to keep it like that, even though I'm not actually focusing on that in this video. I will be coming back and focusing on that in the next one. So I'm just going to write sinking funds across the top. And some of you have asked me about the different pens that I use. This is just a regular Staedtler fine liner. This is so old, and I feel like kind of the older these get, the better they write, at least for me. As you can see, there's barely any tip left to this at all, but I love the way it writes. Now, that's terrible writing. I'm also using a Muji. This is a 0.38 millimeter tip, and it is a gel ink ballpoint, but with that tiny tip to it, it is super fine and something that I call a scratcher pen because it makes that kind of noise when you write with it. The other pens that I have been using and adoring lately are these amazing fine. Please don't pay attention to my nails. I cut them all. As soon as one breaks, I'm like, okay, I gotta cut them all. So they have no polish. They're stained from polish. So please excuse that eyesore. These are the Bic Gelocity 0.5 millimeter pens, and I got a 10 pack for $4.99, I believe. And these are awesome. Seriously, if you're looking for a pen that writes great and you're looking for something that is also very economical and a good value, pick up the Bic Gelocities. They also come in different colors. What else can I tell you? I use these highlighters. I have this whole little bin of highlighters, so these are linked down below. I use the mild liners by Zebra. I love Zebra pens. You can find those a lot of places, but I have all of them linked down below just in case you're interested. And as secondary highlighters and underlining, I use my Tombos. I'm trying to use things that I've had for a while just so they don't dry up completely before I have a chance to. So down here, I'm going to write cash envelopes because that is the section that we are focusing on today. And I need to do that because variable expenses are important and unavoidable. So I need to get that in order. So as you guys know, for a while now, I have been using 4 cash envelopes and 4 cash envelopes only. And it's been working pretty well for me. I'm also only using 4 sinking funds. So for my cash envelopes, variable expenses, I have one for dog food, I have one for groceries, I have one for gas, and I have one that's miscellaneous. So anything that doesn't fit into these 3 categories gets thrown into the miscellaneous envelope. So I just think it keeps it really short and sweet. In the miscellaneous envelope, if I have different categories, I will use a Post-it, and it just keeps things streamlined. So first of all, I'm going to write groceries in the first square. Now, what I like about this layout, and I've talked about this before too, this is just a big happy planner, is that the Big Happy Planner affords me like exactly the amount of space that I want and need for how I'm doing my budget now. So I really have been enjoying this. I like the way it looks. I like the way it's organized. And I'm just sorry that I didn't use a Big Happy Planner before now because it's really been working well. So here are my 4 categories. So what I'm going to do is use my Post-its. So here we go. And I'm going to put $100 in for groceries. And that's pretty typical for us. Some weeks, you know, we use all of it. Some weeks we don't. And if you're interested in the meal plan that I do every week, that has kind of been helping me keep on budget because when I meal plan and I go over everything that we need versus everything that we already have on hand, you know, it's so much more organized for me, and it's just, I don't know, it makes the whole grocery shopping process so much more streamlined. So I can go through and I can say, okay, I'm making, you know, these 5 meals or whatever the number is for the week, and I have to only buy X amount of ingredients. So it's really, really nice the way it, that kind of works out. So I'm going to organize the money up here. Should have done that first. I have 400 in hundreds. I have 200 in $50 bills, $20, $40 in 20s. I have $10. I have $5. And then I have 4 ones. Now I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a truth. I'm short $10. That's because I plucked a $10 bill out of here and I bought myself a big iced tea, and I have the change in my purse, and I'm just gonna hold on to it. I'm not gonna track it. I'm not going to make those dollars allocated for something. I'm just gonna have a little bit of cash in my purse. So $100 for groceries. And by the way, usually I like to buy my tea to go, like at Panera, like I'll just go through the drive-thru. Their tea is not cheap. They have this program at my Panera, and it's something like, I don't know how much it is a month, but it's a set amount a month or something like that. And it's like their coffee club, and you can go in and then like with whatever this card is or however it works, you can get like free refills all month. You just pay like one fee, and I swear it is so cheap. It's like less than $10. Don't quote me. But I did ask, I'm like, can you guys do that for like iced tea? Because I just drink the plain unsweetened tea. There's nothing to it. And they're like, no, because that's different. And I'm thinking to myself, but it's all brewed. Like, you can go in and you can actually get iced coffee with that club card, but you can't get iced tea. Okay. Anyway, so here's $100 for groceries. The funny thing is, well, it's not funny, but the other part to that is, iced tea at Panera is like $2.50 at least. So it's not cheap. Alrighty, so we have $100 for groceries allocated, and next we have to allocate gas, and I have been filling up a couple times a week. My vehicle is pretty economical, I would say, in gas, but for right now I'm just going to put $50 aside. Like at the height of quarantine and not going anywhere, mixed with not doing the deliveries back then, I honestly was not doing anything. Like I never needed to fill up my car practically. So I have $50 here for gas. So I'm going to put that here. Then, what is next? Let me write that down. Okay, so dog food is next. And we always buy the same kind anymore. And it's the grain-free Rachel Ray Nutrish. And the bag that we get is like $23 or $24, I don't know. But $25 covers it. So we're keeping with that. We buy grain-free. It has to be like rice-free, has to be pork-free. It has to be like all kinds of, you know, special, because our one dog, Stella, she has allergies to those things. So we figured a while back, if it's good enough for Stella and it's good for her, it'll be good enough for the other two. So none of them get grain food any longer. I'm gonna put that in there, and I will write that down here. Now, surprisingly, I'm gonna have some money left over, which is cool. So I'm gonna do sinking funds after this. So miscellaneous category is getting something very, very specific. So I'm getting a haircut, and I have not had a haircut since February, early February. The stylist who cuts my hair, she has, it's kind of like in this big salon, and all of their areas or little like mini salons are like off by themselves, and they all have doors. So it's really nice. So I'm not going to be interacting with very many people or anything like that, but she did say, you know, we have to have you wear a mask. And I was like, oh my gosh, well, yeah, that's fine. Totally. Like whatever the rules are, I'm all about that. So I'm finally going to get my hair cut, and I think that is early next week. So I have put $50 aside. So that's going to take care of my cut, tip, everything like that. So under miscellaneous, I'm going to write haircuts, because I don't really have any other miscellaneous. So, and I'm gonna do a total. So let's see, let's add everything up. So we have 100 plus 50 plus 25 plus 50. $225 in variable expenses / cash envelopes. So that's what these categories are. They are variable expenses. The cash envelope part is just how I am organizing and housing that money. Everybody has variable expenses, because I think I got this question before, you know, what's the difference between a variable expense and a cash envelope? The expense is the variable because it changes every week. And the cash envelope is just the medium that I use to organize it. So I'm going to highlight those two things right there. And I think I'm gonna do some extra / unnecessary highlighting with my Tombow. Here, I'm gonna highlight all the categories. When this is all done, I like to see like everything look really colorful. I don't know, makes me happy. So let's see what I have left over for sinking funds, if you're interested in that. And so we also have some news. I think we're going to be staying in our house another year, and we've done some talking about it and back and forth, and it just makes most sense. So I just wanted to mention that to you guys, because if we are going to be staying in our house one more year, at least until next June, that means that there are some things that we are going to have to do to the house. And it's some things I wanted to avoid if we were going to sell it anyway, but being here another year, I think that it's the right thing to do, and also it will make the house better to sell next year. So we have some things in mind, and when I figure out what our to-do list is and our project list and maybe some itemization for how much it's going to cost, I will share that with you guys if you're interested, because I haven't been spending money, and I purposely did not want to have any debt because I knew we would be going for another mortgage, another home loan, and I just didn't want to have any debt besides my student loan showing up and what we owe on the house now. But I figured if we're going to be here another year, we can at least get a couple things done, even if we have to spend money or use a 0% interest card or whatever. So it's going to be planned debt if we have debt at all. All right, so we have 100, 2, 3, 350, 4, 420, 430, 431, 432, 433, 434. So $434 will go towards our sinking funds. And that is it. So I will be back with that video very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. And I do try to get back to everybody. But if I don't, please know that I am reading the comments and I appreciate each and every one of you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps my channel. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would love if you stuck around and did so. So hopefully, guys, I will see you on my next one. Take care.